You want real doomer hours? Well, I'll give you real doomer hours. I've been thinking long and hard about the situation that the world finds itself in today. I have been looking at everything that has been going on, and will probably ever be going on. And I don't want to sound like a doomer, but objective material conditions are objective material conditions, even if they are doomsday-ish. The human race. I have always wondered about the end of the world. You don't get so hard into post-apocalyptic games and post-apocalyptic fiction and even sometimes post-apocalyptic crafting as I do without sometimes stopping and thinking about how serious the world is, or seriously thinking about the actual end of the world. And my thought was that it was probably going to be war. That the contradictions of capitalism would reach their boiling point, quantity into quality, and explode into some kind of event that's just going to screw everything. Not even necessarily a nuclear holocaust, but a war that's big enough to destroy the industrial base, enough to economically collapse everything. But then I started looking at more factors. I started looking more at how people are under capitalism. And I stress that, how they are under capitalism, because there is no reason to believe that they would be acting like this under other systems. I don't need to go into historical materialism, you already know that. I don't need to go into how human behavior, base and superstructure and all that, you should already know that by now. But I moved on to saying, well, it's probably going to be global warming. Because there is no real effort to change anything in terms of the environment. Even if we take China at their word, even if we take them at their word, it's still not enough. Even if China does even better than they say they're going to, you think that's enough to change everything? We're in such a terrible condition that most of this world does not care. We're going to destroy ourselves. Even those among the bourgeoisie who know there's a problem won't do anything significant enough to do anything about it. And if even one day the bourgeoisie were to wake up and realize, holy shit, we're going to die, we have to do something right now. We have to change the economy right now. This very minute, this very day, and the gears of bourgeois bureaucracy are not going to be able to move fast enough. A mass amount of people will resist it, just because they think it's literally the Nazis taking over. It's big government totalitarianism, even if it means the complete extinction of the human race. Of course, that's implying the bourgeoisie are ever going to come to that point before it's too late. I'm sure they'll think of it, but only after it's too late. We have nothing more than an astronomical mountain of scientific proof of man-made global warming, and still there's an astronomical amount of people in denial about it. Their denial doesn't even have any rational basis. Well, it's gotten warm before. Not to the point that it's on track to right now. We can see the goddamned floods. We can see the goddamned hurricanes. We can see the heat waves killing off mass amounts of crops. But of course, since the vast majority of the environmental destruction is taking place in the third world, these self-righteous, privileged little assholes in the first world are acting like it's not real. It's a scam made up to make us try to live better. That's literally the whole cause. And that's the goddamn truth. Because the people who are suffering from heat waves, the Bangladeshis, the Hondurans, even the poor in China, the poorer areas of China which still get floods, and the subcontinent that suffers so much, even India, which is even big enough to make a noise about it, and they still don't. Because it's them who's dying. The over-consuming first world assholes still march around as though nothing is happening. Oh, it's just a natural cycle. Let's see if it's still the natural cycle when you're the ones that are dying. I noticed that opinion started to change once the wildfires started hitting Oregon and California. Somehow, that small percentage that started to change their minds started changing them when it started happening to them. All right. Yeah, mate. Listening to a general Australian saying global warming's not real until their whole goddamn country was on fire. And now all of a sudden they want politicians to do something about it. All of a sudden they want them to step in and save the economy. And it's bad how close to complete annihilation that Australia actually came. And I don't just mean like the fires, I mean the economic damage as a result. And suddenly it became real. I don't mean to rag on the third world. I mean, I don't mean to rag on the first world, but the first world is the worst example of it. In that they are portraying more of the terrible manifestations of it. And there are plenty of people in the third world who are in absolute denial about it. Most of them from the elite. Not the regular everyday person trying to survive, but the economic elite. The ones who have the most power to do something about it. Pretending it's not real. And then even among the people who know it's real, can see that it's real, there's a portion of them that are like, oh, this is Jesus coming back to reclaim the world so we can all go to fucking heaven. Dumbasses who don't even understand how the Bible works. They don't even understand the context things were written in or what their actual meaning is. Oh, well, if we all die, then Jesus... Because that's what Jesus would have wanted, right? That's what God would have wanted. Because that's how you view this. Let's take it from your religious perspective. That God gave you this whole huge planet to live in, to laugh, to cry, to live, to experience abundant resources, and you just completely shit on it. And then after wasting it and deliberately destroying it, you're going to turn around to God and say, oh, it's good that you've come back to save us. That is your mainstream evangelical bullshit. At least the ones that acknowledge that global warming is actually real. It never ceases to amaze me that an ideology which continually will never shut up about the end of the world and Jesus coming back and all that, and a huge portion of them don't even believe global warming. They don't even believe that there's an end, that whenever you show them something that could lead to the end of the world, they don't believe in it. But Jesus is coming back any time now, and we keep pushing the calendar back for when he's going to come back. It's almost like this evangelical nonsense doesn't even have a rational basis to it. A church divided on ideology is no church at all. And you look at it and how there's no solid theory. I mean, it's not a theory, it's a religion. So that's why you get the no solid theory thing out of it. You got them who don't believe anything can happen, even though they say the end is coming soon. They got the others that see the end physically coming and embrace it because Jesus is going to save us. Jesus is going to take us to heaven. You've been saying that for a long goddamn time. You've been predicting the end of the world so many bloody times. And you were so far off each and every time. And this is the way things are. And the people in power could do something about it. They've got all the power to do so, but they don't want to do a goddamn fucking thing that won't hurt. They don't want to do a goddamn thing that's going to hurt profits. And that brings me to my next point. COVID is doing the damage to the world it is for two reasons. The first reason is economic. If you shut down to the degree that is necessary to stop this virus, you will destroy the economy. There's no doubt in my mind that that's true. A full and complete lockdown that would end this virus once and for all would be the total economic devastation of the entire world and the idiotic market system that we have. Capitalism. So that's what these people in power are doing. We got to balance not destroying the economy with, not destroying people with this disease. And despite protestations to the contrary, I think people in power do know how dangerous this is. And they're downplaying it so as not to cause panic, because panic would equal a loss in profits. Maybe even a loss in their power. So that's always the balancing act that they have to do. It's not, they don't even try to do this balancing act between the economy and people's lives because they're just evil, or they're just bad, or they just care about profits more than people. They literally have to. It is the entire logic of this system. The entire system is built in a way that you have to prioritize the economy. You wouldn't have a choice. You could hire any progressive you want to take over the country and take over the economy. As long as you have capitalism, you will have this problem. There is not a thing any politician or business leader could do. Because that's the functioning of the system itself. And even if they were altruistic and wanted to do something, they couldn't. They would still have to prioritize the economy. Because that's the functioning of the system itself. You're not going to be able to just vote in some nicer candidate that'll make things better, like what Xander Hall in his fucking idiotic statement. Well, who says we can't just vote in that kind of change? All of recorded history, you fucking dumbass. And that's the other reason the world is suffering so bad from COVID. Stupid people. People who insist that this is some kind of conspiracy, that somehow if you wear a mask and show one iota of concern for someone else, 1 ounce of respect or dignity to someone else, it's literally the Nazis marching in. And these morons literally believe that. They do believe that if there's some kind of lockdown, please stop going places and potentially spreading the disease. Oh my God, this is literally a concentration camp because I'm an idiot. The only thing the system ever really asked you to do, only thing we would really have to do is do a minor lockdown and wear the fucking mask. Because we are all facing the same threat. Maybe not to the same degree as the rich, but we are facing the same threat. And all you'd really have to do is wear the fucking mask. But people believe so intently that this is some kind of big government, totalitarian, super communist takeover. by just not spreading a fucking disease and claiming the disease isn't real. Every stupid asshole that doesn't wear a fucking mask risks everybody else. And I think that's common fucking sense, not just scientifically correct, but common sense. If you want to do stupid things and get yourself killed, that's your business. But when you're doing things like this that is destroying the collective as a whole, you don't have a right to do that. If literally your only stupid ass argument is that, oh, they just created this pandemic so that they could make money off of a vaccine or a cure. You honestly think that in China alone, they tanked their own economy by hundreds of billions of dollars to make what, $5-10 billion off of a vaccine? Are you stupid? You think the goddamned world lost hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in economic prosperity so they could make what, a few billion off of a vaccine or a cure? Are you that dumb? You think that's how this works? Do you not know simple addition and subtraction? Can you not look at a number and know if it's bigger than another number? Are you so bloody irrational that you project your irrationality onto everybody else? I know a guy. Doesn't wear a mask because he has asthma. He literally does have asthma. And he has worn the mask before, but once it was enshrined in law that a person with asthma didn't have to wear it, he stopped wearing it. He literally can wear it. It's not going to be a problem for him because he has already worn it in the past. And he refuses to wear it now. Just because he's too fucking lazy and too fucking self-centered. He lives with his 84-year-old mother. He refuses to wear a fucking mask. Not just putting himself in jeopardy. If he wants to kill himself, just fucking do it. But you're putting your own mother in jeopardy. And you out there, you know exactly who I'm talking about. The person I'm talking about, they know I'm talking about them. You know goddamn well what you're doing. You're putting your mother's life at risk. Your elderly mother's life at risk. Because you're too fucking self-centered to put a goddamn mask on. Like, I can get if you didn't care about you. I could get it if you just, I don't want to because I think I'm in pain. Having asthma is actually a pretty good reason, even more of a reason to wear a fucking mask. I wear a fucking mask. And I have a hard time breathing in it because I'm so fucking fat. And somehow, I still manage to wear it. Yeah, but you're breathing in your own CO2. It's like bad for you. You'll lose something. Shut up. Surgeons can wear the fucking things for like goddamn 8-12 hours in a fucking surgery and somehow it doesn't kill them. Doesn't damage them. Nursing staff can wear them for 8-12 hours and it doesn't kill them. You're full of shit. Anti-mask people are nothing more than self-centered, entitled fucking assholes. And what a surprise that the vast majority of these pieces of shit, you're pieces of shit, that's what you are, live in the first world. I can't get a haircut. This is literally totalitarian fascism. I can't go to the gym, but you can exercise at home, you fucking moron. Nothing's stopping you from, just doing push-ups or pull-ups or sit-ups or something. No, it's not as good as your $5,000 fucking exercise machine at the gym. But you can still exercise. Fuck. You've got more time to do it than you did before. And let's not even... And I know learning from home, doing the school thing, sucks. It is garbage. But every time you reopen the schools, you spread the virus. And I know it's poorer quality education than actually being there. But it's either take a hit on education or fucking die. If you need help understanding the difference between these two things or coming to a rational decision, then I can't help you. But that's not the problem here. It's the self-entitled little fucking assholes who are so pissed that they need to make this all about them and them wanting to do something and not caring, damn the consequences. Ooh. And then when their fucking egos can't handle it, deny there are any consequences. Say the problem doesn't exist. It's just a totalitarian effort to control people's lives. Because legitimately, they've got nothing better to do than make people wear masks. Never mind things like Julian Assange basically going to die for exposing a crime. Writing a law that spies on people, that goes through your internet history. Warrantless wiretaps. Indefinite detention. Children in cages on the fucking border. Oh, those aren't the totalitarian things we should be worried about. It's wearing a mask. Wearing a mask is essentially the same thing. It's basically a totalitarian control mechanism. Not the warrantless wiretaps, not the spying, not the going through your computer history, indefinite detention, all of that stuff. It's the mask that's doing it. The showing of any slight bit of concern for another human being. And you know what? I expect that from right-wing assholes. I expect them to be that way. That is their ideology. That is everything that comprises what they are. Me, mine. So I expect them to be that piece of garbage. But I expect leftists to be better than that. And I mean actual leftists. Not progressive jerk-offs running around pretending to be leftists. No AOCs, no Bosch. If you want to call yourself a leftist, you have to be an anti-capitalist. Don't care what that is. You could be an eco leftist. But let's be real here. People like Vosh, primitivists are more leftist than Vosh is. So when I see these leftists running around saying that it's a conspiracy to control people, that if you make them wear a mask, it's like totalitarian control, you're an idiot. And whatever your leftist card or your card-carrying communist, turn that card in because you don't deserve it. You shouldn't have it. You're a disgrace. Oh, boo-hoo, we can't go to the movies. Boo-hoo, we can't go and get my hair done at the latest salon. If that isn't the epitome of first world is fucking bullshit, then you tell me what is. Because you know what? I think I am kind of an authority on third worldism. I think I can, with no ego, be able to say that. And it's the same as the other self-righteous bullshit that come out of leftists. Is this really any different? Their identity is greater than anything else? Is more important than anything else? God, don't get me started on that. We have such a bad goddamn world ahead of us. So here's what I was thinking. Maybe what is the totality of everything that I've been saying? If a society legitimately believes that global warming isn't real, legitimately believes that if wearing a mask and showing one iota of concern for another human being is big government totalitarianism and spread the virus out of their own stupidity, if that is how a society is, it deserves to be destroyed. You've heard the expression, people get the government they vote for. Or people, you get the government you deserve by your own effort, your own actions, etc. If a society is literally dumb enough to be that self-destructive, then it should be destroyed. And the thing is, you don't even have to advocate destroying it, because it's going to do it itself. I'm not even advocating destroying anything. I'm not advocating destroying society. I'm saying people deserve their own stupidity and the consequences of their actions. The problem is it's going to drag down every other person that does care, that does want to do something, that isn't stupid. All I hear about is how allegedly there's this great revolutionary potential in the first world, and third worldists are wrong. We're totally the vanguard. Me and my party of 5 losers. Maybe losers was going a bit too far. I apologize. But trust me, the vast majority of the American population doesn't want a revolution. Not even a non-Marxist one. The vast majority of losers on the left don't even want it. And many of them, the loudest ones, Xander Hall, Vosh, don't even believe one is even necessary. They're standing there claiming to be Marxist when they believe in voting in change. They're literally anti-Marxist by doing so, and if they're not hired, but if they're not COINTELPRO, then they should be on the payroll because they're doing the job just as good. The vast majority of leftists in the first world don't even want a revolution. Yeah, they say it, but they don't do it. They say it, but as soon as things start getting tough, they turn around and say, "Whoa, vote out Trump because because he just makes things worse for the working class people." And then when I say, "What does it matter? You're supposed to overthrow the system anyway." You're just doing accelerationism. I'm not advocating accelerationism. I'm pointing out your friggin' hypocrisy. And the only thing you can do is turn around and scream accelerationist at anybody who's criticizing you. Yeah, there are legitimate accelerationists out there, for sure. I'm not one of them. The fact is, it's looking like the human race is going to die. And the human race is going to die from its own stupidity. It's a historical thing. I've mentioned this before, and God help me, I can't find the source for it, but I know it was a thing. It said empires cannot handle 3 crises at the same time. Environmental catastrophe, COVID, and the economy. Once the economy gets bad enough, you're going to have the 3rd crisis. And I don't think it's just going to be the U.S. that falls. I think everybody's going to fall because of it. When the U.S. goes down, it's a very large red oak tree falling in the forest, and it's going to flatten everything underneath it. And it's all going to happen is people were too goddamn self-centered and lazy to do something about it. Global warming doesn't exist because I don't want to have to change anything. COVID's not real because it's really inconvenient for me. Well, you could do revolution and stop the system that's destroying the planet anyway. God, you could even come to your senses and even do some kind of bullshit utopian Venus project. Everybody just stands up and throws their money at the bank saying that they refuse to go on with it. If humankind was actually that conscious of that, you could actually do that. But it's not. It's not based in the real world. And in the real world, that doesn't happen. But theoretically, if human consciousness was actually better, you could do it. Theoretically. But those who do care are the ones that have the least power to do anything about it. Or the ones that are going to risk their lives to do it. The people in the 3rd world that are going to have to overthrow the established order. And I single out the United States here because it is the best example of what it is that I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong. There's enough people in Canada, the UK, Australia, who have apps who are just as bad. It's just that in sheer mass and sheer numbers, the United States is the worst. But it's the same social sickness over many of the first world countries. Our own stupidity is what's going to end us. Wondering when the war was going to happen that was going to devastate us. And I can go to a whole thing explaining why I think that war was going to happen, but it's not relevant here. Our own stupidity is going to be it. Our own blatant stupidity. And if that's the way it's going to be, then we deserve what we get. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know what to do. I'm not some kind of great theorist who has some shining light forward. I'm I'm not a shining path. I'm not a leading light. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. I've nearly burnt myself out for 11 and a half years trying to educate people. How much more can I do? I don't have time or energy to do anything more than I have now. I can't wake anybody up. I can't force a red pill down anybody's throat if you want to use these cliches. By the way, thanks a lot, Rightus, for completely destroying those expressions. I don't know what to do. And I can't think of anybody that does know what to do. We're gonna stand on our knees at the altar of our own selfish desires, our own petty hedonism and profits, completely ignoring the abyss, the frigging abyss that is creeping up behind us. And it's so bad. There's people who don't see it because they're so wrapped up in in themselves and their own self-centered little universe, or the ones that are in denial about it, who do see it coming and don't want to see it. This is why people fall into despair. That old thing that once someone knows too much, they become depressed. And I was depressed before this started. And I know someone would turn to me and say, then do something. But the fact is, as I've stated previously, I don't know what to do. I don't have an answer. I can diagnose the problem just as good as anybody else can. But I'm not a medical researcher that knows how to come up with a cure. I'm not Lenin. I can't do that. And I don't think anybody can. If someone out there can, please prove me wrong and give us an answer. The only thing that's going to wake people up to this is more than 220,000 deaths. More than global warming coming to the point of killing tens of millions of people. Only then are people going to realize it, wake up, and stop with their bullshit, self-centered bullshit. And by then, it's already going to be too late. I hate to sound like a doomer, but I think that's where it is. I think we're going to die from our own stupidity. And me, Jason Unruhe, MRN, I don't know what to do. I don't know what more I can do that I haven't already done. I just hope that someone out there has an answer. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.